Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another Empires and Puzzles video. Got the Soul Exchange. As always, I'll give you my thoughts and try to assist you with this decision. If you've ever wondered what Empires and Puzzles would be like with way more quality of life features, a dev team that listens to player feedback, and more value for your money spent, then download Gemstone Legends right now from the links in the description of this video to get yourself a free $50 starter bonus. I know it can be intimidating to start a new game like this, but between myself and other great content creators, there are tons of tutorial videos out there to make playing Gemstone Legends a lot of fun. The fact that they offer a $50 starter bonus to new players and have such great quality of life features are two big reasons why over 50,000 Empires and Puzzles players have already made the switch. It's awesome, and I look forward to seeing you there. This only pops up every once in a while, as you know, so it's something you want to consider carefully. Although every time people tell me how they just did it instantly. However, I think there are some of you who do take your time because you've got, 2.5 days, 3 days to make up your mind, so you might as well use that time. All right, so as usual, we will start in the 10 hero area. I will evaluate the different options and give my impression of who I think is the strongest choice there. All right, first up, Phantom of the Opera. Was very good when he came out. Extremely dated now. Look at that, double limit broken stats. You're not even pushing 1,300 defense, barely 1,400 attack. These things didn't matter quite so much, or better to say stats weren't the primary factor in the past. However, there's such a wide spread between them now that stats really have to be a primary factor. Also, did anyone notice that this guy is purple? His skin is purple for some reason. It's kind of unusual. All right, so as I mentioned before, family bonuses, passives, all those things are going to factor in. I'm not going to look at them for every hero. This video is going to be way too long, so just keep in mind you got to look at that stuff as well. Average speed definitely hurts him. 405% damage with a low attack stat. Might as well be like 275% damage or something if you're going against meta heroes. And then they get this Ballad of Obsession, which is decreased monogen and decreased healing. No defense down, nothing like that. I don't think this is your strong choice. I think this is actually one of the weaker choices here. Talking about stats, this guy is really hurting for stats. I can't believe that he's barely pushing 1,000 defense and 2,000 HP with a double limit break and full emblems. That is really unfortunate. Granted, he's got defense up for 6 turns, but that's only going to bring you up to 1,200. It's definitely going to help, but I'm not sure how many people are going to double limit break. So, fast speed, that's great. The family bonus here is worth considering. This 5% monogen can push different heroes to different mono breakpoints, so that can be a helpful thing. I've got one of these guys. I don't know if he's even single limit broken. I think he is. Too squishy to use. He dies so easily, especially if they have mega minions or something. He's just gone before he can do anything, which is a shame because this was a really good special skill when it came out. Destroys all minions from all enemies and damages mega minions. Deals 275 to all enemies, an additional 30 for each minion destroyed, and then it's these stacks of decreased mono generation. So I just think he's from an old era, and you can only utilize him if you're not facing meta teams. So you'll have to just factor in whether or not that is something that you were doing or not. I think all of us are forced to in wars and raids. That's kind of the way they've constructed this. They want there to be a pain point of being underpowered, so you're more likely to spend. So I think for that reason, this guy's not a good choice. So not Elaine, but Eliane. Okay. Weirdly, maybe someone can explain this to me. I have seen her on a lot of good defense teams, and I don't understand it. She's a hero of the month, which is typically not a great thing. So let me know if you understand what the draw is. I imagine It's this passive along with decent damage and a dispel. But yeah, perhaps you can help me understand. So stats are quite a bit stronger, not remarkable, but quite a bit stronger. Deals 300% damage to all enemies. All enemies receive 948 burn over 4 turns. Dispels buffs after. Element Link gives 30% defense against special skills. So yeah, just a really well-rounded Hero of the Month. Immune to burn and gains 5% mana each time an enemy receives burn. So if they have it for 4 turns, I guess in 4 turns she's gaining 20% mana, or gains 5% each time an enemy. So does that mean she's getting 25% per turn in 4 turns? She's got 100. If that's the case, I would understand the appeal. So probably the strongest choice here. Let's see. Slow speed. Slow revives, as we know, are a thing of the past. Back to Mother North in the old days. 60% chances, great though. With 20% HP, but then they get 50% attack for 5 turns, increasing up to 70, which is great. All allies regenerate 1,270 boosted health over 5 turns. So that's quite strong. Slow speed is a killer. If that was average speed, I would say she would not be in this category. So slow speed really limits you to rush attack, or depending on some riskier synergies, which I personally don't advocate for. So I don't think taking heroes just for rush is the right call unless that's something that appeals to you, and then go for it. Last up, Nogu. This is a hero I still use. Definitely bordering on underpowered, but not crazily so. But he's got a lot of passives. Fast speed, 460 to the target, minor to nearby. They get 750 bleed. Keep in mind that's maxed. Down here it's 504. 750 bleed over 3 turns. For the next 3 turns, the target and nearby enemies convert all boosted health received. For the next 3 turns, the target and nearby enemies convert all boosted health received to max health reduction. Okay, so a lot of stuff going on here. Worth considering. For 10, I feel like either he or Eliane are your best bets. Slow reviver, not something I ever want to depend on, because even if you do charge her, 60% is not a guarantee. So if you get no revives, now you're stuck trying to charge a slow hero again for another chance that your team can come back. Not the strategy I like to take. So I'd take either the red or the green, depending on what your teams are and what you need. All right, Karda, I'm surprised to see only at 15 souls, but as always, that resist special skill blocking passive is very nice. Average speed, 45% heal, lifts the latest cleansable status ailment, singular, not ailments, from all allies and randomly distributes them, plus 33% mana generation, and you've got this repair core here. So a strong healer. Average speed is pretty typical for a healer. You get the boosted health from the core, can't be stopped. Wizard is not the best class, but yeah, just a strong all-around healer with then increased mana generation. I wish it were 4 turns, because on offense at least it can be hard to capitalize on that with only 3 turns, but it is doable. All right, Alvar. Lifts all cleansable status ailments from all allies, so all of them, and redistributes them on enemies. The duration of status ailments is reset for all enemies. That's pretty awesome. Those 2 things together is pretty great. You might have 1 turn left on these things. You throw them onto the other team, and they expire nearly instantly. And that's the way that it's worked for a lot of heroes. But resetting that then is awesome. Deals 350% damage to all enemies. All enemies reflect status effect buffs to a random character on the opposing team for 4 turns. There's a lot going on there. And the stats are quite good, considering you got 20% defense up. So 1/5 of that, that'd be like another almost 300. with troops, so HP's a little low, but that's pretty good. 1660 is going to give you some decent damage with 350%. So yeah, I really like this option. Obviously, average speed can sometimes mean that you never get to charge them, but we're not in the part of the game where the only good heroes are fast. There are a lot of good average and slow speed heroes, especially if you're talking about on defense, but average speed is utilized a lot on offense as well. So that, I would say Alvar is definitely the strongest choice in the 15 hero already, but let's keep looking here. Sparklight stats are a little on the low side, not horribly so. Average speed, special skill never misses, 430 to the target and nearby. It's quite strong. A little bit lower of an attack stat than the last one. Targeted nearby enemies receive 700 burn over 4 turns. Caster and allies absorb 45% of the burn damage as boosted health. That's pretty great. Targeted nearby enemies reflect back for 4 turns. So quite similar. Not quite as good, in my opinion, as the previous hero, but still a strong choice. Still average speed. But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff going on. Can't say anything bad about the special skill, just that the stats are a little bit incrementally lower, which means the shelf life of this hero is going to be a little bit lower. Satori was really into this hero when he came out. There was a lot of cool stuff going on, similar to Nogu, but clearly they've indicated that Satori is in a better class. Average speed again, 315 to all enemies, deals 630% damage against characters that cleanse or dispel using special skills. Can't totally depend on that. I would say cleansing and dispelling is a little less common than it was in the past. Caster and nearby allies have a 53% chance to drop any received damage to 1 for 4 turns. If this effect is dispelled, it dispels buffs from all enemies. So pretty good. With a lower stats is going to be the killer for this hero. Unfortunately, I wish there was more flexibility in the game and it wasn't just like the latest heroes are always the best and even really good synergies taper off dramatically because of the stats, but that's where we're at. So yeah, that damage, the double damage is pretty exceptional. You just can't rely on it that much. It's present. I don't think that would factor in passives that can dispel or cleanse, but I could be wrong there. This just wouldn't be my top choice because of stats. Again, I wish we could just dictate based on synergy and skills, but that's not the case. All right, Daroga. Stats are pretty similar, which is surprising because I don't feel like this guy came out that long ago. Fast speed deals 530% damage to the target, so just one. Target receives 1,746 bleed damage over 3 turns. That is a lot, and it spreads, which is pretty exceptional. All allies get plus 25% attack. Quite good for a sniper. I mean, without the bleed damage, not very good, but stacking attack boost is awesome. You're probably going to fire him twice per match. You're not going to like get up to 10 stacks of 250%. You could on quest stages or something like that, so that could be good. It's going to be 2.5 times as good as Gazelle is in that sense. So there are good things about this hero, but I feel like snipers are just not in their era right now. So for that reason, I would not say that's the strongest choice. So for me, strongest choice is, Alvar. If you need a healer, obviously you've got one choice here. And then I would say Sparklight has a little bit of an edge. This guy has some good stuff going on, but is a little more niche in terms of when you're going to use that. So hopefully that'll help. And then the last column here, I've got definitely some things to say about these. So first and foremost, Dark Feather. Stats are getting pretty damn low, but I still use this hero all the time. In my best rating team, for example, in a lot of the tower teams, just because, even more than Hippo, actually. But this, all allies have 50% chance to deal 270% damage to a random enemy after any subsequent allied special skills cast for 3 turns, is so good. In addition to the growth, because yes, you have lower stats here, but you fire this a couple times in some quest stages and your stats are pretty decent. You've also got this ether ability if you're going to double limit break. So I think this is pushing it for 20 souls because of the stats being dated. But like I said, I use this hero in a lot of aspects of the game still, including on my single best rating / war team. So that's not to say this hero would definitely make your raid or war team your best one, but for me, that's the way it worked out. So a great hero, definitely worth considering. Yeah. Lemonwood. This is a hero I wanted for so long, but looking at the stats, I don't think I would choose it anymore, which is unfortunate, because this special pissed me off so much when it came out. Fast speed, never misses, deals 380% damage to the target. Okay, that's kind of low. Reduces the mana of the target by 20%. That 20% is significant considering one of the heroes we're going to look at next. If the target has more than 30% mana after the reduction, the special skill repeats. Oh, after the reduction. Interesting. So it's got to be at 50% or higher. The special skill repeats. Targeting a new random enemy, the damage is reduced. So yeah, that can just wipe out your whole team. Things that cut mana are still so good on defense, especially. On offense, less so, and I hate building teams for defense, but on defense, this hero on defense, they're guaranteed to gain mana, so they're charging no matter what's happening. They charge faster, depending on how things happen, but they're charging no matter what. If this hits your offense team, losing 20% mana has just set you back an entire additional match, and if you've been struggling to get your matches together, you're in a bad spot, and that's happened to me many times. Granted, if this hits a hero with less than 50% mana, the effect is pretty minor. So chime in if this hero is still a part of one of your best offense teams. That's what I'd like to hear, because I just don't think I would make this choice anymore based on the stats, unfortunately. All right, I'm shocked to see him here. I've got one of these guys not double limit broken, so the stats would be about there. And, not that great. This is without emblems, but let's look at it. Dispels buffs from the target first. That's good. Blocks talent skill activation for 3 turns. Okay. Deals 485% damage to the target. That's pretty decent at this double limit broken attack stat. It's also at plus 25, so like I almost don't even want to have this on because it's so ridiculously inflated with the master emblems and the double limit break, and like that's a hefty investment that you probably wouldn't make into this hero. It's possible you would. I wouldn't. I have limited resources, I guess, but yeah, keep that in mind. But looking at, it's like, give us some middle ground. This is also so underpowered. Okay. The target cannot cast any new status effects on enemies or allies for 3 turns. That is good. The Dispel first is like a, breaking taunt or something, very fast speed. You can charge with 1 ghosted match. There are some good things here, but 20 souls, I think 15 feels a little more fair, so this would not be my choice there. But some people might need a very fast Dispel, being able to block status ailments and buffs on the target cannot cast. So yeah, that would be like disabling a taunter. You take down taunt with the Dispel, and then they can't cast taunt for 3 turns. But yeah, again, not my choice. This is a great healer. The costume bonus is enormous. You have guaranteed passives, which this one gives you cleanse and 10% boosted health, considering this is non-boosted HP. 54% heal, some beefy stats. I've seen people tanking this hero just because of the stats. All allies get plus 64% defense against nature and a further increase for 4 turns up to 88. That'll come in handy sometimes, I guess. I think that's part of why you see this as a tank, because you're probably going to try to take green against this, and that's going to disable your green team. All enemies get minus 45% accuracy for 4 turns. That has definitely bailed me out. This was a hero that I finally leveled just because I needed more healers, and that blind has surprised me. I mean, that's almost a 50-50 shot that they will not hit you for 4 turns, which is quite substantial. So it'd be nice if there was like a dispel or something, but you're already getting a cleanse, so that's pretty good. Monk class, solid for a healer. So yeah, pretty tempting for a powerful, tanky healer that can get you out of some tight spots. There's a decent chance they have at least 1 green on their team, so if you're hitting within this 4-turn window, if they're hitting within that 4-turn window, then you are going to take a lot less damage from them. So keep that in mind. But yeah, great healer, fantastic stats, going to be relevant for the longest because of the stats. All right, so we looked at Lemonwood before with the minus 20%. Here you're getting only minus 5%. So on offense, that is going to be a lot worse because 5% is probably what the enemy can gain in a single turn. This on defense is very fucking annoying because 5% is enough that you gotta match again, you know? So it's enough to screw you up if you're on offense, but these stats are not the best for defense. This was a good defensive hero for a while, but it's also been a while. Good family bonus and passive. So fast speed deals 390 to the target and minor to nearby, so fairly low. At the end of each turn, the caster and nearby allies shoot a fluff volley at a random enemy for 3 turns. Each fluff volley deals 150% damage and reduces the mana by 5. This is another one that I'm not okay with seeing at 20 souls. This is an older hero. Yes, that's nice to have, but again, it's going to be better for the reasons I mentioned on defense. Also, the way they're holding the arrow is pissing me off because you could not shoot an arrow that way. Not that matters, but... Okay, so at this level, I would have to say... Hetepherus. Probably the strongest choice for just a pure healer. For a flexible hero that you can still use in a variety of areas, Darkfeather's definitely up there. Lemonwood you could make work, and I could see that being exciting. But I would have to give my choice to one of the 2 healers. If I had to choose one of the attackers after that, I would have to give it to Lemonwood still over this guy. The stats are close enough. They're still on the lower side. But again, this passive reduces incoming damage, essentially. Other heroes absorb that for this one. But keeping this guy alive can definitely win the fight for you. So, tempting. Not sure what I'm going to choose yet. The stats are just a killer. If they were like 100 higher across the board or something like that, it would be more tempting. But yeah, anyways, hope that was helpful. Let me know what you ended up choosing down below, or any thoughts that you feel like I didn't include that are worth mentioning for the benefit of others. Do include those as well. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.